This bill is, I call it the Child Care Affordability Bill. It's another bill that I've been working on. And this bill basically, it helps with the cliff effect. For those of you who don't know what the cliff effect is for the people who are working, getting government assistance to be able to help pay for their child care because they don't make enough money at work. Well, some of these folks, they get a pay increase. So they give, let's say, $1 increase or a quarter increase. And unfortunately, they fall off the government assistance. And then they have to pay everything out of their pocket. But that increase is not enough to cover the child care. This bill right here will help bridge that gap for the single mothers who all they're trying to do is take care of their kids and possibly be able to go back to college, be able to get educated and be able to get a better job or a promotion, or they want to go back and get a certificate. And I know there's at least one in here that could definitely benefit from that. And so hopefully my colleagues will agree with me on this bill. It's gained a lot of support, and we'll know in the next couple of weeks. Domestic violence. Nevada has one of the highest rates of domestic violence in the country, per capita. We just recently passed, and the governor just signed Senate Bill 362, which authorizes the director of the Department of Health and Human Services to establish, within the limits available of funding, an educational program within the Division of Public and Behavioral Health Department regarding the prevention of domestic violence here in the state. And so again, it is a severe crisis here in the state of Nevada. And honestly, almost every time I open up the newspaper, I see of a murder-suicide related to domestic violence. And so we need to do something about that. We need to educate our community. There's got to be programs established to help some of those maybe mothers or women who feel that they can't leave that relationship because they feel threatened. We need to make sure that we support them. And many times, and many times a lot of men as well, because it goes both ways. It's both men and women. And then lastly, equal pay. We need to make sure that a man and a woman get paid the same amount of money for the same amount of work. It's only fair, and it's only fair for us to be able to reward the hardworking women who are doing maybe even sometimes more at work than the men, but unfortunately they're making 60 cents to the dollar that a man makes. And so this bill, SB 167, that right now is still being negotiated. And then you know what's sad? That we're still debating this bill. It is unfortunate that there's legislators in that body, and I'm not going to say names today, but I'm pretty sure once I come back from the legislative session and some of my bills have already been passed and signed, I will tell you who were some of those people that were fighting against equal pay. But this bill is SB 167, and this bill revises the powers of the Commission to order remedies for unlawful employment practices. It authorizes the Commission to award payback for a period beginning of 3 years before the date of the filing of a complaint regarding an unlawful employment practice, and ending on the date of the Commission issues an order regarding the complaint. It does many other things. I think it could have some more teeth. I think it could do a lot more, but again, when you're in Carson City, it's a lot of compromise. There's a lot of give and take, and unfortunately, there's legislators that don't want to get this bill passed. But hopefully, with your help, and hopefully with some of you, and I know I see a lot of you in here who have been advocating for the last few months at the legislature, have been very helpful in helping us get some of these pieces of legislation not only heard, but also passed out of committee and hopefully get them signed by the governor. Now, there are some bad bills, and I'm not going to go into detail like I did on the other ones, but just like there's some really good bills, and there's all these do-gooder bills, right, to improve education, to allow an opportunity for people to go to higher education, to deal with domestic violence, to deal with child care. There's also bad bills. that, in my opinion, will have a significant adverse impact on some of our communities. One of them is the voting rights. They're trying to take away voting rights. And there's a bill out there that wants to reduce the hours of early voting. And at the beginning, when this bill was introduced, you know what hours they wanted to get rid of? Sunday mornings. And you know what? And I know in the Latino community, in the African American community, you go to church on Sunday morning and then you go vote. So this is a direct attack on minority communities in making sure that we don't turn out and vote as we have in the past. And so it is one of the bad bills, in my opinion, that's going to limit the hours that people can vote. Look, in my opinion, we should be making it a lot easier for people to vote, right? We live in the greatest democracy in the country. We live in the greatest country in the world. We live in the United States of America, where, you know what? The most important right you have is the right to vote. And here's people that are limiting that right. So that's one of the bad bills. Another bill, SB 119, that unfortunately the governor already signed. It takes away prevailing wage from construction workers. Now, for those of you who don't know what prevailing wage is, it's basically making a livable wage, right? So if you're out there in the summer working in 115 degrees and you're building a home or building a school, you deserve to be paid what you're worth, right? You went and got your training, you got your certification, you became a journeyman, you became an expert. So this bill takes away the requirement to pay for prevailing wage for those construction workers. And you know what? I represent part of East Las Vegas. And I know I have a significant amount of construction workers that live in my district. And I see this bill as a direct attack on my community, on my neighborhoods. Because you know what? Now that construction worker, when they go out there and work, they're probably going to get paid minimum wage now. Because literally now they can get paid as low as minimum wage. And so again, that is one of the bad bills. Overtime and minimum wage. They want to get rid of overtime. And you know what they did to make this bill better? They said, okay, we'll get rid of overtime, but we'll increase the minimum wage to $1 more. Now, I wish I could say I'm kidding, but I'm not. You know what this legislative session has turned into? It's turned the legislative session to the big corporations, the big businesses, the multimillionaires who have representatives in that legislative body building. And you know what it's turning out to be? Let's screw the middle class. Let's screw the working class of the state of Nevada. And you know what? You know why that's going on? Because we didn't turn out and vote in the last election. Unfortunately, people who are there to represent the big corporations and the big special interests are in control now. Now, this is the area that I represent. This is my neighborhood. And I'm pretty sure I don't see many millionaires in this room. You are what America is. Middle class, hardworking people that all you're trying to do is work hard, get paid what you deserve, provide for your family, make sure that your kid has a good education. And you know what? Right now, the people that are in control in the legislature do not have your special interests at heart. Because you know what? Their campaign donors are those big corporations. All they're doing is pleasing them and making sure that their campaign coffers are fully funded. So when they're up for re-election, guess what? They're going to win again. But you know what? People over money, any day. People over money. The last two I promise, these are the bad bills. The anti-collective bargaining. So right now, if you're a member of a union, you have the opportunity to be able to bargain with management. You get representative, and they go at the table and say, hey, this is how much our employees should be paid. This is what the benefits that they should receive. These are the paid vacation that they should get. These are the, anyway, all the benefits package, right? Well, they're trying to take away the ability for unions to be able to collect the bargain. Now, my mom's a housekeeper. My mom, literally, as we speak tonight, My mom is working at the MGM, and she's a proud member of the Culinary Union. And I think to myself, thanks to the Culinary Union Health Fund that she had, when I broke my foot when I was younger, I was able to get the surgery almost completely paid for. Completely paid for because my mom belonged to a union that was able to go sit down with management and negotiate and be able to get great benefits so that their children could be able to have a livable life. And so this bill, another direct attack on middle class families, because now the unions are not going to be able to have the opportunity to negotiate at the table. And then lastly, PERS. For the public employees, they're basically trying to get rid of PERS, as we know it. PERS is the Public Employees Retirement System. And they're basically trying to turn it into a 401k. It's for the big corporations to make profits out of them. So again, I wish I could come here and tell you that everything is fine, that everything we're doing in Carson City is good. But you know what, there's a lot of bad stuff that's being passed. And you know what, I could spend another hour giving you a lot of other bills that are having a negative impact in our community, but you get the point. And so I'm asking you for two things today. Number one, there's 3 weeks left of the legislative session. That's it, 3 weeks. The most important decisions are going to be made in the next 3 weeks. If you have the ability to call, to email, to tweet, to Facebook, your representative, if it's not me, then get on the phone and call them. Call them out on Twitter. Send them an email. And let them know that if they don't listen to your concerns, that you're going to vote them out next election. Because let me tell you, the worst thing you can tell a politician is, I'm not going to vote for you. Or you know what, if you don't represent me, I'm going to go out and vote against you. Because we are the representatives of the community. You are my bosses. Those of you who live in this district, you elected me to represent you. I have 125,000 bosses in my district. You are my boss. You tell me what to do. Not the people who fund my campaigns. You're the one that tell me what to do. So please email your legislator. And you know what? If I am your representative, you don't need to email me. Better yet, email the leaders of both the Republican and Democratic Party, but particularly the Republican Party, because that's the party that's in control now, and that's the party who has sponsored all of these bad bills. And then lastly, I just want to say thank you for coming out here on a Wednesday evening. I know it's warm in here, I'm sweating here a little bit. But this is what democracy is all about. My responsibility as your representative is to come back and regardless if you agree with me or not, give you a report of what's happening in Carson City. It is my responsibility, and I wish more of my colleagues would do it. Because you know what, I'm not afraid to face my constituents. I'm not afraid to face the Republicans who didn't vote for me. But you know what though, because I know that there's a lot of Republicans who did vote for me. And there's a lot of independents and Democrats and Hispanics and African Americans and Asians that supported me. So regardless if you agree with me or not, I thank you for taking the time to come here, to listen to me, and to be able to give you a report back as to what I've been doing for the last few months. Because you know what? I'm not even up for re-election. I just won my re-election last year. So I got another 3 years to go. So I'm not doing it to come here and get votes. I'm doing it here because it's my responsibility. So with that being said, thank you so much, and we'll open up the questions.
If you have questions, please come down to the mic.
Si tienen preguntas o comentarios, con mucho gusto podemos contestar unas preguntas. We can pass the mic around, or even if you would just want to give a statement and not necessarily ask a question. Yes.
Hi, my name is Linda Jones. I work for CCA, which is the teachers union here. I want to know, is there anything in the works about this new evaluation system or an evaluation system that would be fair and assess what teachers really do? Because right now what I'm getting is that teachers are being victimized. I mean, they're the villains. They're the ones that they don't get any type of support, and then they wonder why they can't get people to come here, nor get people to stay here. And it's what's going on with that?
So that's a really good question. There is a bill that is somewhat touches on that subject. I'm not sure if it's my mic or yours. Okay. And you know what? I don't remember the bill number, but there is a bill that deals with, and actually this is what they're calling it, the bullying bill against teachers. You know, there's a lot of bullying in a lot of the schools. You know, a lot of retaliation against teachers who possibly speak up on issues. And there is a bill that's still alive that we're dealing with. Again, I'm not sure what's going to happen with that bill. You know, again, right now, any bill that's still alive can still die and can still be amended. And so again, I don't want to talk any specifics, but there is a bill out there that somewhat deals with that issue.
Hi, my name is Frank Slaughter, and I want to thank you for opposing Bill AB 148. Today I spent an hour, maybe 2 hours, calling various assembly people and the Senate Judiciary Committee about opposing this bill. This bill is a waste of time, and I'm sorry that you have to spend time on a bill that wants people to have guns in our campuses. You have much more pressing issues than guns in this state. You just talked about it, about education. You need to talk about education. You need to talk about health care. You don't need to be talking about guns, but I thank you for standing up, and we're gonna make this bill die in the Senate. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. This bill, you know, a few months ago I spoke at UNR in a big rally. It will basically enable teachers or anyone to be able to carry their gun on campus at the colleges and universities. And most of the students, most of the faculty and staff from most of the universities and colleges are opposed to this. But you know, there's some folks out there who feel that they will feel a little more protected if they carried a gun to school. And look, for the record, I'm a gun owner. I'm a proud supporter of the Second Amendment, but I also believe in responsible gun ownership. I believe that you should be able to have a universal background check so mentally ill people don't get a hold of guns. And I also believe that our schools are for our kids to go learn and not be feeling intimidated by somebody who's carrying their gun. So those are my feelings on that. So Frank, thank you so much, and I know you've been at the rallies, I know you've been mobilizing people down here. Thank you so much. The bill is still alive, and so it's not over yet, and hopefully through your efforts and the efforts of the community, we can defeat the bill.
My name's Nicole Shield, and you'll have to forgive me, I'm not really good at speaking in public, but I'm going to try to get this across.
Well, you're doing a good job so far.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You were discussing the bill that there's going to be more funding going into schools, and you even made the point that throwing money after a situation isn't necessarily the best way to handle things. Clark County obviously has issues. There are districts that have the same kind of issues that we do that are managing them the correct way. Does this bill allow for any sort of an independent audit to determine where this money should go so that we're not throwing good money after bad?
That's a good question, and I don't have all the specifics of the bill. I'm not on the finance committee where they're analyzing specifically where money's going to go and what are the measures. I'm not on the education committee either, which is where they determine what the policy is. So the finance committee funds it. The policy committee determines what the policy is going to be. But again, what I said is that you should not just throw money at a problem. If you're going to give money to try to resolve a problem, it's got to show results. There's got to be accountability. For every single dollar that is being spent, we have to determine where it's being spent and if it's being spent wisely. Because if not, let's get rid of programs that are not working. You know, and invest in programs such as the Zoom schools that I was talking about earlier. And again, there's got to be accountability. We don't have the luxury to be overspending or to be throwing money or to be also, you know, overpaying people as well. You know, so anyway, I will make sure that somebody from our education committee, if we get your contact information, contacts you and let you know if there's going to be any measures like that.
more quick comment.
Yeah.
The reason I'm bringing this up is because obviously there are school districts that are doing it correctly. I often have wondered why we haven't gone to them to learn how to handle our issues. And I don't see that happening. I mean, if you've got people who are doing it right, shouldn't you be learning from them?
Hello, my name is Tony Patfield. I'm a resident here in District 10. I just got a couple concerns. One thing is I know we're getting Resort World here, which is going to be a major employer. My one concern is that what I've heard is that it's geared more to bring more of a Chinese population. And so what I'm thinking is that does the current labor force here, will they be able to speak the language, or is there any incentives to learn a foreign language or anything provided by libraries to get Las Vegas ready to accommodate this? Because what I feel is no one here is going to be qualified for such a big employer. We're giving them all these incentives and nobody around this area is going to benefit. Another big concern is housing and living here. With the convention center buying all the property out here, $1 billion convention center is coming, that's great. But for the residents here, my apartment complex, they just started raising the rates. Housing is a big issue. And you were mentioning also with childcare and so forth. One thing I was suggesting is have we looked at encouraging employers such like MGM and Caesars to provide employer housing and childcare incentives? I know a lot of cities, New York and Miami, offer a lot of at a state level. They offer huge tax credits to employers to provide employer daycare, employer housing, or residents can actually walk to work. They don't even need a vehicle. They also have childcare, so you take care of housing, a vehicle, and childcare. Even if these casinos pay a low-paying job or even a part-time job, you're able to live. And I haven't heard anything as far as affordable housing, and I see the prices in this area going up. So that's kind of my concern, and I want to know what's going on with that.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for the concern, and I owe you a phone call. So on the first topic with the Resorts World Las Vegas, first of all, I'm excited that our economy is picking back up. As you noticed, I didn't touch much on jobs or the economy. For the past 3 legislative sessions, we've focused all of our time on job creation, on building the environment for businesses to thrive here in the state of Nevada. We passed the Omnibus Economic Development Bill back in 2011, which helped create the Catalyst Fund, the Knowledge Fund to attract business to the state. So I'm very happy now that, look, there's still people that are unemployed. And I think we should continue creating that environment so everybody, to the point where everybody has a job. But right now, again, going back to my remarks at the beginning, if we do want to continue attracting other businesses that are not casino businesses, we need to invest in education to be able to diversify, right? To be able to have the trained workforce for not just casino jobs. And again, a lot of those jobs are complicated jobs. But I'm talking about, manufacturing jobs, IT jobs. There's no reason why we shouldn't be competing with Silicon Valley on bringing technology to Nevada. There's no reason why, Nellis Air Force Base has to take their planes to Arizona to get them fixed and then bring them back. We should be able to have the workforce here, the trained workforce here, to be able to fix those planes here in the state. So going back to your question, Resorts World is, in my opinion, good news for our economy. I mean, you're talking about a $2 billion project. $2 billion project that's going to create over 16,000 jobs here in our local economy. And a lot of those jobs, again, are going to be filled by the people who are still unemployed right now. They're going to be good paying jobs. From my understanding, they're also going to be union jobs. And so I don't know specifically what casinos are doing to try to, create programs for housing for their employees. I think it's a great idea. But again, that's the private sector. There's only so much we can tell them to do. We can encourage them. We can talk to them and see what they're doing. And I'm pretty sure some of them are already doing good things for their employees, such as offering scholarships for their kids to go to school. But I don't know specifically about housing. We would have to check with the company specifically. And I think, what was your second point, the affordable housing? Right. So,
how many people in here speak Cantonese?
right. So let me tell you why also Resorts World Las Vegas is good for our economy here. What was it? I'm blinking out. The place in Asia, Macau. Macau, well, right now they've been declining little by little, but they're still making billions of dollars a month. And I'm concerned that at least for now, while tourism continues to be our state's top industry, that we may be losing tourists to Macau. And you know what happens in that scenario? Then casinos don't make money here. People like my mom get laid off. Then she can't pay her mortgage, and then she loses her house. And so I'm happy to see an Asian-themed casino opening up here that will compete with the likes of Macau. And again, I'm still convinced that Nevada, Las Vegas is unique. You know, people want to come to Las Vegas. They don't come here just specifically to gamble. They also come here for the environment, right? We are the entertainment capital of the world. We're the wedding capital of the world, right? Which, by the way, I have a bill on wedding tourism as well that's going to help generate money for our economy. But with that being said, you know what? I know most of the schools here encourage a second language, and I know here because of the economy or because of the demographics of the state, it's usually Spanish what they recommend. But I've always said, my dad's always told me, you got to learn Chinese. You know, you got to learn a different language to be able to become more competitive. And so again, I think we could encourage the school districts to encourage the students to take up a second language. Sorry for the long answer, but that's the short as I can give.
Hi there, Senator Kihuen.
Hello.
I'd like to introduce you to your oldest supporter. Mrs. Higgs is 103 years old. One of the issues that we haven't had to come up is that I take care of her, okay, and I'm able to. But there are a lot of seniors out there that are living below poverty level, okay, and I haven't seen anything out there that's going to give them some kind of assistance that's going to bring them up to where they can live healthily.
That's actually an excellent question. I mean, look, I have parents who in the next 10 years are going to be looking to retire, right? I want to make sure that they have a dignified retirement. First of all, I support protecting our Social Security at the federal level. There's right now efforts to privatize it, which would put it at, put it at risk, for people like your mother to be able to have a dignified retirement. Here at the state level, we have countless laws, countless programs in place already that do offer assistance to people like your mother. And part of those are included in the general budget to make sure that they continue being funded. And again, part of it also is PERS, protecting PERS. Making sure that those people who are entitled, that have earned their retirement, get a dignified retirement. That after working 20, 30, 40 years, when they finally want to retire, that they're able to have that dignified retirement and that they don't take that away from them. So we're doing everything possible to protect people like your mother. So thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Grania. I am a high school senior from Rancho High School.
Rancho.
I graduated from this school actually.
I'm a Rancho grad, so thank you.
I agree with you that we need more teachers. I see my classes are filled to the top. However, I also see problems with our school supplies. I know a lot of my teachers have very limited books. I am taking personal finance and my teacher is unable to give us homework because she cannot assign us books to take home. Therefore, all of our work is done in the class and we still get much learning, but it isn't as much as it could be if we were able to take it home and fully process it. So I realize that you're trying to bring in more teachers. However, will there be something done about the limited school supplies as well?
All right, great question. And what was her name again? Elizabeth, of course you're a Rancho High School grad, so articulate, so eloquent. So to your question, we just passed Senate Bill 252. And this is, I should have probably just covered it at the beginning, because I went specifically on bills. This is going to be the bill that, if it passes, is going to be the one that's going to generate the funds that we need to be able to properly fund our education system. This is the business license fee bill that was presented by the government. So basically, so right now businesses pay $200, right, to open up a business for their business license. This bill would create a tiered process. So if it's a small business, let's say I have like a one-person business, then I'll pay the lowest amount, which is going to be $300 or so. If you are Walmart, if you are MGM Resorts, you're going to pay over $1 million in your license fee, because that is only the right thing to do, right? A small mom and pop business or a home business should not be paying, the same amount that a big corporation like Walmart is paying. And so that's right now the proposal that is on the table. Again, there's still 3 weeks left of the legislature. Things can still change. So I don't want to say that this is going to be the bill that's going to pass, because I know in the Assembly they have their own proposals. They have their own ideas. But if this bill becomes law, it's a bill that I supported, that my colleagues in the Democratic caucus supported. It's going to fully fund our education system so you can have a book to take home. My girlfriend's a teacher. She teaches at Canyon Springs High School. And she was the one, I don't know if you remember, but President Obama came to Canyon Springs High School a few years ago. Oh, Councilman Barron's here. Councilman, how are you? I just saw you. And you were there, Councilman Barron. By the way, Councilman Barron is the first Latino ever elected to the North Las Vegas City Council. And he's a teacher. And he was there. He was there with my girlfriend. It was actually my girlfriend, Councilman Barron, and another teacher. And they sat down with the president. They did a roundtable discussion. And my girlfriend pulled out a book and she showed the president. It was a government book that showed that it's a government book that they were still using at that time. That the last president in that government book was George Bush. Now she